Breaking news: a political earthquake just shook North America. In a showdown that stunned Washington and electrified Ottawa, Canada has just scored its biggest economic victory in decades. Yes, you heard that right. Mark Carney, former Bank of Canada governor and global economic strategist, has just outmaneuvered Donald J. Trump in a battle that was never supposed to be winnable. The target? Trump's aggressive tariffs on Canadian goods. The result? A shocking reversal with global consequences. This isn't just a trade victory, it's a bold reclaiming of Canadian economic power on the world stage. And the ripple effect? It could reshape everything from steel prices to grocery bills in your local stores. So, buckle up, because what you're about to discover will shock you, inspire you, and maybe even make you cheer. Let's dive into what Carney just pulled off and how it's rewriting history. The Trump tariff war. Let's rewind to when this all began. Under the Trump administration, the U.S. launched a trade war that saw steep tariffs slapped on Canadian aluminum, steel, and lumber. Trump's reasoning: protect American jobs. But economists warned, this wasn't protection, it was provocation. It sparked a domino effect of job losses, price hikes, and strained diplomatic ties. Canada, dependent on U.S. markets for critical exports, took a massive hit. Factories slowed, exports dropped. Thousands of Canadian workers faced layoffs. But behind the scenes, Mark Carney wasn't staying silent. He was watching, analyzing, and preparing a counter-strategy that would one day change the game. Carney's masterstroke: fast forward to 2025. While Trump pushed for tariff reinstatements as part of his new campaign rhetoric, Carney went to war, not with tanks, but with tactics. In a masterclass of diplomacy, Carney rallied European Union allies to pressure the U.S. with mutual countermeasures, global economic coalitions to challenge the legality of Trump's tariffs at the WTO, and even U.S. business leaders who had grown tired of rising input costs to speak out. But here's where it gets brilliant. Carney didn't just fight back. He reframed the narrative. He didn't argue, "Don't tax Canada." He argued, "You're hurting your own people." U.S. auto factories were losing billions from Canadian steel taxes. Prices for home construction were surging due to lumber duties, and American farmers were caught in the crossfire of retaliatory tariffs. Carney made this an American problem, and that's when the tide turned. The moment of victory. Trump vows revenge. Tariffs will return. During a campaign rally in Ohio that same evening, Trump made his intentions crystal clear. "When I get back into the White House, and I will, we're bringing those tariffs back. Double, maybe triple, because nobody messes with American steel, not even Canada." The crowd roared. But behind the scenes, his economic advisors were less enthusiastic. Many of them had seen the internal numbers. They knew that U.S. manufacturing jobs had dropped due to retaliatory tariffs from Canada. Construction firms were bleeding money from expensive lumber imports, and consumer inflation was worsened by artificial pricing distortions. Trump, however, isn't one to back down, especially not when his pride is on the line. He sees tariffs as his signature move, his brand, his show of strength. And to have that weapon dismantled, not by Joe Biden, not by Congress, but by a Canadian economist, that's the kind of insult that Trump doesn't forget, or forgive. Meanwhile, in Canada, a hero rises. While Trump fumes, Mark Carney's star is rising rapidly back home. In Parliament, opposition and ruling party MPs alike have praised his strategic brilliance, his quiet diplomacy, and, perhaps most notably, his refusal to engage in Twitter battles or public ego duels. He simply presented the facts, built the alliances, and won. Canadian media outlets from coast to coast are hailing the moment as a diplomatic masterstroke and a victory for economic intelligence over bluster. Headlines include, "Carney outmaneuvers," "Trump, a masterclass in quiet power." Canada didn't just win, It redefined the game. Economist, diplomat, leader, Carney's path to politics reopens. And that last one may not be far off. Is Mark Carney heading for 24 Sussex? As the dust settles, a new question is starting to dominate political conversations in Ottawa. Will Mark Carney run for Prime Minister? It's not the first time this speculation has surfaced. Carney has long been seen as a potential leader. His resume is staggering. Former Governor of the Bank of Canada. Former Governor of the Bank of England. Yes, really. UN Special Envoy on Climate Finance Harvard and Oxford, educated fluent in French, English, and the language of global finance. Until now, Carney had remained largely outside of elected politics. But this trade victory has catapulted him from respected economist to national hero. Insiders within the Liberal Party, and even some centrist conservatives, have reportedly been pressuring him to consider leadership in the next federal election cycle. According to one MP who asked to remain anonymous, "We've seen what he can do with policy. Now imagine what he could do with power." The global aftershock. Make no mistake, this isn't just a North American drama. Governments and financial markets around the world have taken notice. European economists are calling the move a textbook example of strategic de-escalation. The Dow Jones and TSX saw modest but immediate rebounds following the news, particularly in sectors hurt by tariffs. And leaders in the WTO and G7 are now citing Canada's approach as a model for dealing with protectionist regimes. Even U.S. business leaders, some of whom supported Trump during his presidency, are quietly applauding Carney's influence. Why? Because they were tired of fighting their own government's tariffs. Carney didn't just help Canada, he helped their bottom lines too. Trump's playbook exposed and neutralized. As one senior trade advisor in Washington told Politico, the damage is done. Trump's tariff playbook has been exposed and neutralized. Let's unpack that. For years, Trump's economic strategy relied on shock and leverage. Announce a tariff, rattle the markets, force the other side to blink. But Carney didn't blink. He didn't posture. He didn't threaten. He built alliances, won over skeptical U.S. industries, and proved, with cold, hard data, that Trump's strategy was hurting America more than helping it. In chess terms, Carney didn't just win a piece, he boxed in the king. The philosophy behind the fight. What makes this moment so powerful is that it wasn't just a trade dispute, it was a clash of ideologies. This is why Mark Carney's victory matters. It's not just about economics, it's about what kind of world we want to live in. So where do we go from here? Why this moment matters. In a world where most economic battles are fought behind closed doors, in acronyms, in backrooms, in silent markets, this one broke through the noise. It was public, it was political, and it was poetic. Mark Carney didn't shout, he strategized, he didn't campaign, he calculated, he didn't fight for applause, but he won it anyway. If you believe Canada just took a massive step forward, share this story. If you're inspired by leadership that leads by logic, not loudness, hit that like button. And if you want to see more wins like this, subscribe, and let's keep amplifying the voices that quietly, but powerfully, shape the future. And the message is clear. If you try to bully Canada, prepare for a polite, precise, and powerful fight back. If you're proud of this win, smash that like button. Share this with someone who needs to know that Canada just made history. And don't forget to subscribe for more real news, no fluff.